We got Chandra Thomas on the Midnight Hour Radio Show. Chandra, what's going on?
Hey, guys. It's great to
Hey.
be back.
Hey,
How are
good
you?
evening, Chandra.
How are you?
What's going on?
Everything. You know how it is. It's been wonderful. So
Do you
glad-
roll it? That's what Gentry Jones.
Rolling. I know. How am I going to get that out of my head now?
That's the point.
I know, right?
Yep.
Isn't that great?
This is actress Chandra Thomas on the Midnight Hour Radio Show.
Pretty actress, too.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank
welcome.
you. I'm so glad to be back here talking to you guys about my latest project, which is called Complete Sentences. It's a comedy. It's a short, and it's great. It's a proposal comedy with baseball and love and food and romance and all those things wrapped up. And
Well, tell us that name again, Chandra Thomas. What was the name of that new comedy?
It's called Complete Sentences.
Oh, okay. Something that I don't do very often. Use complete ones. Okay.
Complete Sentences.
All righty.
Complete Sentences with Chandra Thomas. Now, you did a lot. What people don't know about you, you're a true thespian.
Okay.
Y'all know what a thespian is?
Yes, darling.
Yes, we
It's
do.
not
Oh,
the
what is it?
darling.
Tell them what a thespian is, Chandra.
Well, I think the way you're defining it is a woman of her craft.
Yes.
Which is definitely what I do. And also take great pride in being a multi-hyphenate and telling stories as a producer, as a writer, and, of course, as an actor. So, yeah, that's how I would define thespian.
Absolutely. Not lesbian, thespian.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
my
With the
goodness.
T. With the T, my right?
Wow.
He is on the ball.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, listen. We're in a multifunctional world now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. And I don't
true.
judge nobody, but I just want to be clear that just means a professional actor
Right.
There you go.
who's been
There you
trained
go.
professionally.
Yes.
That's true. That is very true.
So you did quite a few things in your career. Chandra Thomas on the Midnight Hour Radio Show, actress, director, writer, dancer, right?
Yeah, I have some dance in my background. But, yeah, what I primarily do these days is work as an actor, writer, producer, which is so fantastic to be able to come from storytelling from those very specific angles. And, you know, the point is to tell stories that we don't get to hear a lot of. You know, there are a lot of stories, a lot of voices that are muted, that don't get the opportunity to tell the full breadth of the stories that we have in our various communities. And so one of the great joys and pleasures that I get from my work and the great responsibility that I feel from my work is to be able to tell some of those stories and hopefully inspire others to tell theirs as well so that we can be part of the new wave of voices and the new wave of ideas and storytelling.
Right. So I'm going to pass the buck over here to Rocky Thunder. I was going to call her Rocky Thomas. But no,
Like, what is wrong with you?
no, it's actress.
We families are what they trying to say.
Hey,
It's
never
actress Chandra Thomas and Rocky Thunder on the Midnight Hour Radio Show.
know. All right. Well, Miss Chandra,
Yes.
you wrote a play called Forgive to Forget.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the specifics of that play? Like, what was it about?
Absolutely. So, Forgive to Forget is a solo show that actually I performed in several places around the country. And really it was about a woman with her, sort of dealing with her father as he was entering late stages of dementia and having to reconcile her feelings of contempt with regards to him in connection to her mother leaving. So in sort of the journey of the character's life, her mother left her and her father, and she sort of blamed him and felt as though he drove her away. He wasn't part of keeping her there, and while having to take care of her father and navigate through sort of that transition that happens when the child has to take care of the parent, as they get older. And in this particular case, as he was suffering from dementia, having to forgive him in order to be able to move on in her relationship with him and to better understand sort of what happened and what transpired between her father and her mother and her own relationship with her and her mother. It was very engaging, entertaining, full show that also included poetry, spoken word, song and movement and dance, and I had a great time working on that show. It's one that's very near and dear to my heart.
Right. So I'm gonna pass the buck over. We got about 6 minutes left. Pass the buck over here to Michael G on the Midnight Hour Radio Show.
I'm so glad to have you, Miss Thomas.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. You guys are always a joy to be on with.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So you were fascinated by the stories from your mom and other ladies in the family growing up, correct?
That's so true, yes.
What was that like? I mean, I know they had your undivided attention. Like, they were very imaginative stories. Were they like fables, or were they like real life stories of your life, or were they things that, that they just found amusing?
A little bit of all of those things. I'm a first generation. My parents are from the West Indies, and so I think my family, particularly the women in my family, felt like storytelling was a way of keeping those of us who were born here connected to home. And so we got fables, we got a Nancy the Spider, we got stories about the village back home and, having to walk uphill in the snow both ways. And I'm like, wait a second, you're from the West Indies, where was the snow? All of those kinds of experiences. So we got the breadth. And what my mom did and does with great acuity is being able to tell stories but falling into the character of whoever's speaking. So each person gets their own voice, and even physically she'll start like taking on mannerisms of that person when she's speaking from that person's voice. And so from a very early age, I learned that sort of each person speaks differently. And when you're telling a story, you take on a little bit of that person. So a lot of that is just, I look back now as an adult and see how much of my youth in my young days in the kitchen and at the table, experiencing that and how that informs and shapes who and how I am now as a person and as an artist.
That's wonderful.
Well, I'm going to pass the buck we got about 3 minutes left to Tahana Roscoe on the Midnight Hour Radio Show.
Fabulous.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm great. I was wondering about your For the Artists that you were the founder of. How does that help people?
That's a great question. So I went to grad school because I'm a thespian, as it was pointed out earlier.
Yes.
It's crazy stuff, yeah.
And so when I was finishing up grad school, I found so many of myself and other people who were also coming out of grad school programs feeling like just trying to figure out how to navigate the business of what we do. And especially at that time, there just wasn't a lot of information, and information that was coming from people who were actually doing it. And so I started For the Artist as a space and a place to be able to help inform and inspire transitioning artists and student artists into the professional world. And so I've been really fortunate to be able to bring really specialized workshops, seminars, panels, discussions, presentations to student artists and artists transitioning from other careers into this industry across the country. So I've been just literally all over. And so it's such a great joy to be able to help inspire another person to pursue this work that's so difficult. We hear about the difficulty, and especially as artists of color, it's extraordinarily difficult, right? But to be able to come in with tools, to feel empowered, to come in with tools to be able to make strides and make inroads. So, so that's where the artist came from.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will definitely be checking it out.
Great.
Chandra.
All right, Chandra, we have about 2 more minutes, so we're going to let our last host, Marvetta, ask you one more question.
Yeah, I've got a quick question. I'd like to know, out of all the roles that you played, which one probably sent your parents into therapy? You know, like that one child that's the tree, you know, and now you're doing these performances, these films. What was the most abstract role you've played?
Oh, my goodness. You know, I'm going to tell you a little secret. So my parents, I don't invite them to the ones where they would go into therapy. I don't let them see them. Because they would really end up in therapy. I, played the gamut, as I'm sure you can imagine. So I keep those away from them. But I will say... one of the, I'm excited about making this a family business, and so I brought my mom on as a producer on Complete Sentences, my project that launches on Tuesday, and that's been so fantastic. It's therapy in a different way. She's been getting to learn sort of the ins and outs of the business from the business side because she works in a completely unrelated field. So that's been a different kind of therapy.
Well, Chandra, we got to go in about a minute, but I want to just say to you, we do advertise on the Midnight Hour radio show.
Yes, we do.
So we can get that message out there about Chandra Thomas's Complete Sins.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, but I wanted to say thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yes, it's always
You
our
already
pleasure.
been inducted into the Midnight Hour radio show Hall of Fame.
All right.
So we don't have to go through that. We want to support you in any way, and we would hope that you do the same for us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me on. Always great to hear your guys' voices. Keep up the great work.
Check out her
You
new
too.
project that launches Tuesday. Actress Chandra Thomas, Complete Sentences.
Yes.
It's on the Midnight Hour radio show, wherever you at in the world. Check her out, ChandraThomas.com with a C.
That's right.
Some people might not know us with a C.
That's right. Help them out.
You know what I mean? But we
I
know
know
it
what you mean.
because you are a family on the Midnight Hour radio show.
Yes. Indeed.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much again, guys.
Woo-hoo.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to take Michael's line. Go ahead, Michael. Do your
I can't do it how my voice is gone.
All right, Chandra. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
coming on the
much.
Midnight Hour radio
See you,
show.
Chandra.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
You too.